Joining me now with more is former National Security Advisor and Research Fellow at the Jerusalem Institute for Strategy and Security and the Jewish Institute for National Security of America, Major General in the IDF Reserves, Yaakov Amidror. Major General, thank you so much for joining us. Now, Islamic Jihad fired the rockets and Israel responded against Hamas, as Hamas is the ruling organization in the Strip. But how much control or say does Hamas actually have over Islamic Jihad's actions?
I think that they have a lot of influence on jihad, on Islamic Jihad, both sides. One, the Islamic Jihad understood after the last operation a few months ago, when one of his leaders was eliminated by Israel, that if he doesn't cooperate with Hamas, Hamas will let him deal alone with Israel, and for the Islamic Jihad, it's something that they cannot bear. But I think more than that, Hamas has the ability to stop them by force if Hamas really wants. So I think that at the end, the responsibility for what's going on in the Gaza Strip is on Hamas, and this is why Hamas is taking the results of operations of the Islamic Jihad.
All right. Now, Israel typically refrains from retaliation in a way that results in human casualties, but that means that the price for rockets and attacks is relatively low. Is this the right approach for Israel, in your opinion?
Here, it is not just to lower the price in human life. It is more than that. I think it's not the interest of Hamas, and it is well understood here in Israel. And it is not the interest of Israel today to begin a new operation in Gaza. So they found something which will be strong enough to single to make clear in Gaza that Israel will not tolerate launching rockets into Israel, but at the same time will not lead to another operation. And it's a delicate situation how to define this line exactly. And from time to time, people are saying it's too low. Others will say it's too high. I think it's in the right place.
All right. The United States is calling on both sides for calm, but also a return to the status quo in Jerusalem. But this seemingly equivocates between Israeli security forces and Palestinian authorities, who are in fact instigating and inciting the violence, doesn't it?
I think that the Americans are making a huge mistake by encouraging, in a way, the rioting in the Temple Mountain, because it is clear that Israel didn't violate any status quo. And by this very uncareful language, the Americans are encouraging those who are leading to the tension in the Temple Mountain. I think it's a big mistake.
Why can't the United States and the West at large just speak unconditionally against incitement to terrorism? They do it against Russia and Ukraine.
Hypocrisy. One word.
Could you expand?
I think that it's double standard used by many countries, not all of them, but many countries, and Israel is suffering from this double standard. One language towards the Russians, one language towards the Iranians, one language towards the terror organizations like Hamas and Islamic Jihad, and one language towards Israel. Instead of having very clear moral point of view in which incitement and terrorism is not something that can be tolerated. Some countries in the West are not using this clear definition and prefer the hypocrisy, which is making difference between terrorism coming from Hezbollah or Hamas and other attitudes and atrocities that they find in other places like Ukraine.
So what response from the international community would both be more accurate but still politically correct to some degree from their perspective?
I think that it's clear incitement and terrorism cannot be tolerated, and the condemnation of those who are leading to terrorism and incitement, including organizations in the Middle East, should be very clear. But at the end of the day, I don't think that the language of the West has will change dramatically the attitude of those organizations.
All right, Major General Amidror, thank you so much for joining us today.
You are most welcome. Thank you very much. Chag Sameach.
ILTV Plus, your news from Israel and more 24/7. Start your free trial today. Subscribe at iltv.tv and watch from any device.